Hello, and welcome to the April installment of Construction Junction, presented to you by MSU Infrastructure Planning and Facilities. If you have any comments or questions concerning this presentation, or have suggestions on how we might improve, please let us know via the feedback box on the Construction Junction webpage located at the address on the screen. The agenda for the April presentation will begin with updates on which projects are going to the next two Board of Trustees meetings. We will then have a presentation on the power plant distribution bus project. There will then be updates on Wilson Road Extension, the ISTB project, and the Business College Complex addition. We will then have an overview of the various road, classroom, and construction projects scheduled for this summer. Beginning with the April BOT meeting, the projects going to the board will be, for Step 2, Authorization to Proceed, Music Building Addition, IM East renovations, and Food Science Lab renovation. And for Step 3, Bid and Contract Award, Olin Student Health and Wellness. Moving on to the June BOT meeting, the projects going to the board will include, for Step 2, Authorization to Proceed, STEM Facility Construction, and Power Plant Distribution Bus Reliability and Expansion. And for Step 3, Bid and Contract Award, Campus Water System Improvements. We begin with the projects to expand and increase the reliability of the distribution buses at the T.B. Simon Power Plant. The power plant is located in the service district. All buildings on campus are served by two medium voltage power circuits, one serving as a backup for the preferred circuit in the event of its failure. The power plant has only one of these circuit pairs remaining, which is already earmarked for near future use. Projected campus growth necessitates the addition of two additional pairs to ensure service to future facilities. Additionally, there are 5 instances where a single circuit breaker powers 2 different substation transformers. These substations serve the power plant's boilers, turbines, and lighting. Unfortunately, the failure of one transformer causes the breaker to trip, which causes a loss of power not only to that transformer, but also to the second transformer on the same breaker, which can have significant consequences to steam and power production. This project will add 5 additional circuit breakers, which will allow for the isolation of these transformers to a single breaker, thus preventing this cascading of power loss. The scope of the project will include installation of a new 2-high spare breaker cabinet, which will allow for the pairing of the existing spare breakers with 2 new breakers. The installation of 5 additional circuit breakers in the existing switchgear, which will allow for dedicated feeder breakers to 5 power plant service transformers. The project will be executed in 2 phases. Phase 1 will occur in 2019, with Phase 2 occurring in 2020. There are no expected campus power outages or adverse effects to the power plant operations during the completion of these 2 phases. Purchase of required equipment will occur in September of this year, with the 2 phases occurring from June to August in each of the 2 following consecutive years. Here you see photos of the very existing distribution buses in the power plant, with the last photo showing an example of the 2 high breakers, similar to those being installed as part of this project. If you would like further information about this or any other project, visit the construction.msu.edu webpage. There you will find links to all current and past projects. Specific questions regarding the T.B. Simon Power Plant Distribution Bus Reliability and Expansion Project can be directed to the project representative, Ken Beach. We now have updates on major ongoing projects, beginning with the Wilson Road Extension project. This project is located in the Eastern Residential District. Accomplishments during the month of March included demolition of the existing pavement, installation of storm sewer and water mains along Fee Road and its adjacent lots, and construction of the triangular parking lot at the southern end of the Vet Med Fields, which will be used as a staging area during further construction. Impacts expected during the month of April will include continued vehicular and pedestrian detours in place around construction areas. Here you see the construction phasing plan for the period from March 16 through April 30th, showing areas affected by construction as well as posted detours, and the phasing plan for the period from May 1 through May 18th. Here is an aerial view of the site, with a rendering showing how the site will appear after construction is complete. A view of the removed pavement and tree protection along Fee Road, the progress on storm sewer installation in front of Fee Hall, and the triangular parking lot at the south end of the Vet Med Fields, which will be utilized as a construction staging area for equipment and materials. If you would like further information about this or any other project, visit the construction.msu.edu webpage. There you will find links to all current and past projects. Specific questions regarding the Wilson Road Extension project can be directed to the construction representative, Andy Linebaugh. Next is an update on the Interdisciplinary Science and Technology building construction project. This project is located in the South Academic District. Accomplishments during the month of March included near completion of glass curtain wall installation, progress on installation of rough-ins, and the commencement of drywalling. Impacts to the campus community during March will include continued heavy construction traffic on Service Road. Here you see the initial stages of stairwell installation, an example of sample casework installation ready for approval, installation of the glass curtain wall in progress, and electrical equipment installed in the mechanical spaces. For those of you who would like to follow the progress of construction on this project, please check out the live webcam site at the address on the screen. If you would like further information about this project, visit the construction.msu.edu webpage. Specific questions regarding the ISTech building project can be directed to the construction representative, Carol Kuhl. Next, we have an update on the Business College Complex addition. The Business College Complex is located in the Central Academic District. Accomplishments during the month of March included completion of steel erection, ongoing installation of steel roofing, and installation of the elevator shafts. Impacts to the campus community during March will include the continued closure of the sidewalks traveling north and south between Shaw Hall and the Business College Complex. Here is a view of the addition entrance from Shaw Lane. A view of the north elevation showing completed steel erection as well as the installed temporary weather protection. And a shot of the western portion elevator shaft in progress. Here you see the site logistics plan showing the areas of construction and pedestrian and traffic impacts. For those of you who would like to follow the progress of construction on this project, please check out the live webcam site at the address on the screen. If you would like further information about this project, visit the construction.msu.edu webpage. Specific questions regarding the Business College Complex addition can be directed to the construction representative, Tony Rhodes. We now begin our summer project roundup, starting with an overview of summer road and parking lot construction projects, beginning with road milling and repaving projects. Milling and repaving of road sections is necessary, as the asphalt conditions are to a point where safety is becoming a concern and the pavement conditions will not last through another snow season with snow plowing. This work will begin sometime in early May and last through the month of July. Impacts to the campus community will include minor traffic delays. However, traffic flow will be maintained. Temporary closure of parking lot access during pavement operations in those areas. IPF will work closely with the contractor to minimize inconvenience to campus customers. If weather conditions do not allow for paving work to be completed, milled roads will temporarily reopen to traffic until paving can resume. Here you see an overview map of those road sections that will be repaved during the period from May through July. Next, we have an overview of summer parking lot restriping projects. Painting of parking lot stripes are scheduled on a 3-year rotation to ensure that markings remain clearly visible to campus customers. Painting is scheduled in 2-week time periods to allow for striping to take place in smaller sections and to allow for possible weather delays. Parking areas that are being painted are generally offline for 2 to 3 hours, but may take longer due to weather conditions that may delay paint drying. Non-affected parking spaces will be left available whenever possible during lot restriping. Campus customers are asked to not move cones or to park in spaces being painted or that have recently been painted to allow crews to work more efficiently and quickly. Here is a graphic showing the parking areas that will be impacted during the entire period from May 29th through August 3rd. The areas scheduled for restriping during the period from May 29th through June 8th, the period from June 11th through June 22nd, the period from June 25th through July 6th, the period from July 9th through July 20th, and finally the areas that are scheduled for restriping during the period from July 23rd through August 3rd. If you have questions or concerns about any of the summer repaving or lot restriping projects, contact the project manager, Matt Fehrenbach. We next have information on summer classroom renovation and remodeling projects. Beginning in early May, after classes have completed, the following classrooms will undergo construction. To provide technology-related modifications, rooms in Biomedical Physical Sciences, Business College Complex, Berkey Hall, Chemistry, Engineering, and Olds Hall. To paint and replace whiteboards, rooms in Communication Arts and Sciences and Holmes Hall. And for extensive renovations, rooms in Case Hall, Communication Arts and Sciences, Engineering, Holmes Hall, and Music Practice. If you have questions or concern about any of the summer classroom renovation and remodeling projects, please contact Project Representative Dan Clan. We now have an overview of the various construction projects scheduled over the summer. We begin with a project to replace the indoor turf surface in IM Sports West Room 161. This project will include the conversion of Room 161 into an indoor artificial turf center for club sports, intramural sports, student use, and other campus activities. This will include installation of a new turf flooring system, new doors, fire suppression systems, HVAC components, LED lighting, a lacrosse practice wall and netting system, a motorized roll-up curtain wall, as well as other items listed. Impacts to the campus community will include the staging of construction equipment and materials on the northeast side of the facility. However, there shall be minimal impacts to vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists. Construction began in March and will continue through August 17th. If you have questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Jason Van Zee. Next is the project to alter the multi-use court floor at Demonstration Hall. This project will include the upgrade of the arena to include a new arena floor, new dashboards and a netting system, new circulation fans, LED lighting, upgrade of east restrooms, and other items listed. Impacts to the campus community will include the staging of construction equipment and materials on the southeast side of the facility. However, there should be minimal impacts to vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists. Construction is scheduled to begin on May 7th, with expected completion on August 17th. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Jason Van Zee. Next is the project to replace windows in the biochemistry building. This project will include replacement of 278 windows with new fixed aluminum windows, abatement of caulking, restoration of plaster finishes as necessary, replacement of interior stone sills where broken, and installation of new window blinds. Impacts to the campus community will include the unavailability of rooms as phasing progresses, a temporary overhead structure at the barrier-free entrance to allow for safe building access, temporary pedestrian walkway installation during north stairwell phases, and the close-off of 6 parking spaces at the south of the building for a limited time. The loading dock will remain accessible for the entirety of the project. Construction is slated to begin in May and is scheduled for completion in October. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Chris Barnes. Next is the project to replace electrical distribution lines to the Dairy Research Complex. This project will include replacement of existing overhead primary power lines with underground distribution, upgrading of electrical service to key facilities, proactively remedying known points of failure, and establishment of a single point of connection for future standby power support during consumer energy outages. Impacts to complex occupants will include brief power interruptions during connections and periodic vehicular and pedestrian detours. Construction is slated to begin in the fall and is scheduled for completion by May of 2019. If you have any questions or concern regarding this project, contact the project representative, Ken Beach. Next is the project to construct a campus water treatment plant with an elevated storage tank. Impacts to the campus community will include increased construction traffic in the vicinity of Service Road and Farm Lane. Construction is slated to begin in June and is scheduled for completion in December of 2019. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the project representative, Robert Nessel. Next is the project to construct a high-rigidity spectrometer and isotope harvesting vault at the facility for rare isotope beams. This project will include construction of an approximately 31,000 square foot space that will house the HRS, the IHL, a 50-ton overhead crane, and a truck bay. Installation of a new steam PRV station, and a new HRS chilled water system. Impacts to the campus community will include increased construction traffic around the FRIB site. Construction began in March and is scheduled for completion in August of 2019. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the project representative, Todd Elkin. Next is the project to construct a cryogenic assembly building at the FRIB facility. This project will include creation of a roughly 14,400 square foot addition, which will include a mezzanine floor, a 50-ton crane, and 2 exterior overhead doors. The building will be used to test and cool magnets utilizing helium test dewars, low conductivity cooling water, and 200 kilowatts of power for testing. Impacts to the campus community will include increased construction traffic around the FRIB site. Construction began in March and is scheduled for completion sometime in July of 2019. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the project representative, Jessica Kolb. Next is the project to replace the seating in the Wharton Center Great Hall and Passant Theater. This project will include replacement of 2,401 seats in the Great Hall and 585 seats in the Passant Theater. The project will be coordinated around performance schedules to minimize disruptions to operations. Construction is slated to begin on May 15th and is scheduled for completion by September 7th. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the project representative, Jessica Kolb. Next is the project to renovate Cook Hall. This renovation will include restroom accessibility improvements, elevator installation, alterations to offices and support areas, lighting upgrades, HVAC upgrades, and technology upgrades. Impacts to the campus community will include the unavailability of the building during construction. Construction is slated to begin April 12th and is scheduled for completion by December 6th. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the project representative, Amr Abdelazim. Next is the third phase of the Hubbard Hall exterior masonry repair and window replacement project. This project will include restoration of the structural integrity of the masonry building envelope and replacement of windows. Impacts to campus community will include the limited use of Hubbard Hall to one living wing for summer programs. Construction is slated to begin in May and is scheduled for completion in July. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Carol Kuhl. Next is the project to replace windows and curtain walls in the Student Services building. This project will include the replacement of the original windows and curtain wall systems, replacement of 2 mechanical units, and mitigation of water infiltration in the subbasement. Impacts to the building occupants will include relocation of occupants away from windows during demolition and replacement, and diminishment of airflow during the air handling unit replacement phase. Construction equipment and vehicles will be kept to a minimum to reduce parking impacts. Construction is slated to begin this month and is scheduled for completion by November. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Carol Kuhl. Next is a project to renovate the fruit and vegetable lab in the Food Science building. This project will include renovation to Suite 124 to provide a modern food processing instructional and research laboratory. Impacts to building occupants will include noise, dust, and vibration typical of a construction project of this size, temporary relocation of the basement vivarium to Clinical Center C, increased construction impacts to spaces adjacent to Room 124 during floor demolition, and possible parking space impacts in the north parking lot. Construction is slated to begin in May and is scheduled for completion in January of 2019. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the project representative, Brian Anderson. Next is the project to renovate Jennison Fieldhouse. This project will include complete remodeling of the second level, partial renovations to portions of levels 3 and 4, window replacement, wayfinding improvements, and improved security. Impacts to building occupants will include the maintenance of occupancy with temporary partitions installed to direct internal pedestrian traffic, construction fencing on the northeast corner of the building, temporary routing at building entrances, and typical construction noise and dust with controls in place. All necessary utility shutdowns will be coordinated well in advance. Construction began in February and is scheduled for completion in January of 2019. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Matt Postma. Next is the project to replace roofs at the Communication Arts and Sciences building. This project will include the removal of the existing roof system with replacement with IRMA-style inverted roofs. Impacts to building occupants will include odors inside the facility, which should be alleviated by installation of filtering equipment, and possible sidewalk closures to accommodate the staging area. Construction is slated to begin in May and is scheduled for completion in August. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Ken Gottschalk. Next is the second phase of the project to replace induction units in Wells Hall. This project will include the replacement of aging induction heating and cooling units throughout the building. Impacts to the campus community will include the unavailability of certain office spaces for a 2 to 5 day period as the project progresses, which will be fully coordinated with the department staff. Construction is slated to begin in April and is scheduled for completion in August of 2019. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Todd Wilson. Next is the project to add an addition to the music building. The project will include construction of a 35,000 square foot L-shaped addition to the southwest portion of the music building, with renovation of 8,400 square feet within the existing facility. Impacts to the campus community will include the unavailability of portions of Adams Field through August of 2019. However, pedestrian passage across the field from northeast to southwest will be maintained, as well as maintenance of the availability of surrounding roads and sidewalks. Dates for the start and end of construction are still being determined by the Board of Trustees, and so this project may or may not commence this summer. Please check the project webpage for continued updates. If you have any questions concerning this project, contact the construction representative, Todd Wilson. Lastly is the project to renovate areas of IM Sports East. The overall scope of this project is still in its final planning stages, and so at this time we can only give you an idea of some of the elements that may be included. But again, this is not yet set in stone. We will continue to present information on this project in future construction junctions as the overall scope becomes more finalized. Impacts to the campus community may include the staging of construction equipment and materials at the southeast side of the facility. However, impacts to vehicles, pedestrians, and bicycles will be kept to a minimum. This staging will require the sidewalk along the east side of the Wharton Center parking ramp to be closed with a pedestrian detour in place. The schedule, like the scope of the project, is still being finalized, and we will update this information in future construction junctions as it becomes available. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this project, contact the construction representative, Jason Van Zee. This concludes the April Construction Junction presentation. We encourage you to visit the Infrastructure Planning and Facilities website at www.ipf.msu.edu. There you will find information on construction and maintenance alerts, detour information, construction junction information, project and contact information. There are also a number of other IPF resources available, including listservs that you can subscribe to keep up to date with various IPF projects and events. Stay connected with IPF via social media. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Watch our videos on YouTube. And follow us on Instagram. Construction Junction presentations will be made available on the CJ website beginning the 7th of each month. We thank you for taking the time to check us out, and we hope you'll visit again.